Welcome to Studio 125 Multimedia Complex, where our mission is to provide a safe, positive platform for the community to share their life journey. Today, I have the amazing AR Crown.
Hey, thank you for having me, King. Thank you for having me.
It's great. How are you doing today, brother?
The only word I can say is bless. Bless, bless, bless. In fact, I once had an encounter with an older man, and he was explaining to me about good days and bad days. Not to just jump right in, but this is a great segue into saying this. But he was explaining that every day is a gift from God, and God does not give bad things. So he said since he started to understand that, he has never had a bad day. And since he told me that, I have never had a bad day either. So now I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a bad day. It might be a bad experience, but today is a gift from God. So when you open that present, smile and do what the Lord told you to do. You know, the sun shines every day because it was created to shine, and so were you. You have been born with everything you need to master this life. People pay us pennies to work to fulfill their dreams. And then sometimes we come home tired and worn out and not able to work on our own personal dreams. You know, take the time because if you don't, you're going to die at that job, building them up. So when the Lord gave birth to us, our names were written in the heavens even before the heavens were created. There is something that you do way better than anyone else. Now, I've discovered a few of the things that I do great, but you guys have to discover the things that you do great. And I'm sitting here with the Kings, and they showed me their facilities, and I am extremely impressed. So, you guys get on out here to Blythe and use some of this land. We can always get money. You know, land is limited, and they have a lot of it. How many acres do you guys have?
It's 18 acres.
18 acres. Oh my gosh. They have bonfire pits. They have different areas to do all kinds of different things. And King and I discussed having a model call and fashion show here pretty soon. So there are going to be great, great things coming for 2023. This year has zoomed by. And I tell you, don't wait for New Year's Eve to make a resolution. Start right now.
That's right.
I've already started. You guys started?
No, I have
not. Well, I'm sure they got some things in the pipeline.
That's right. We just focus on just trying to be positive, trying to build, trying to stay focused. And I work out visions.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever God puts in my head, I just try to stay focused on that. I try not to get too far ahead. I try to live in the moment.
I got you. I got you. And you know, where there's a God given vision, there shall be God given provision. Um, it's a little bit weird, but God has been dealing with me my entire life. And I went through the gamut. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, for I too have knocked if you buck. So please don't think I'm holier than thou. I've just been there and I've come out on the other side. The Bible says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind," and I'm definitely a different person. Um, and sometimes when I encounter people that knew me from the past, they continuously bring up the old me, and the reason why is because they are the same old them. I have been through quite a lot. And that's what life is about. Don't judge your life by a season, just like you don't judge one book by one chapter. There are many, many layers to life. There are many, many seasons to life. There are many, many encounters and experiences. So, what I suggest is you get out there and live it. Each and every day is a blessing. You are not a tree. You are not a stop sign. You are not a road sign, traffic light, nothing that is stuck. You are able to move. And as we were discussing earlier, the world looks so, so much different to a grasshopper or a cricket than it does to a butterfly or giraffe. Get out there and see the world because there is so much, much more beyond where you are. Now, I'm just a kinky hair kid from Sunset. 15th Street. And of course, it changed to Cherry Tree Crossing. Um, but when it was Sunset in the beginning, it was a community. Everybody knew each other and we took care of each other. And that was quite a long time ago. Yeah, and sometimes I have survivor guilt, which is a feeling of why me? Why am I the one who went through all of this and came out unscathed? And when I ask that to the Lord in prayer, the answer is, why not you? Why not me? The Bible teaches us the last will come first, and the weakest will be the strongest, and the race is not given to the swiftest or the fastest, but to he who endures. And I've been enduring. 2020 was quite a pivotal year in my life. It was the most terrible, worst, best, exciting, isolating, horrible, wonderful year of my life. I owned a barbershop, which was actually inside my own home. I also was a film student at Chattahoochee Tech. And so that was part of my social life. My clients would come to my home and I would cut their hair. And they were beyond clients, they were friends. I wouldn't let everyone come to my home, so I can consider them friends. I would leave in the morning to go to school. That was part of my interaction. And man was not created to be alone. That's why God created Eve. But when we were quarantined, I lived by myself. So I'm in my home by myself. Initially, I felt I was being isolated, and that drove me crazy. But going through and having my mind transformed by the end of the year, I looked at it as myself being sequestered. Now, sequestered, the word means to be set apart, to be protected. If you think about a jury, a sequestered jury, they're not exposed to the outside information. They are literally set apart and hidden so their opinions won't be swayed by outside influences. In that isolation that turned into being sequestered, I was alone there with myself and the Lord our God. There was no one to influence me. There was no distraction. There was no club to run to. But initially, I ran to alcohol and drugs. And of course, weed is a drug. I was depressed, and foolish me, I'm drinking more. And alcohol is a depressant. How silly was I? But I tell you, it started off with like maybe a few beers a day, 6 pack a day. Then I was up to an entire case a day, gallons of liquor, and just all kinds of stuff. Not to glorify it, but to just let you know where I was. It was to the point where I couldn't eat. I couldn't even form solid waste when I went to the bathroom. And now that's some honesty for you, because from sunup to sundown, I was drinking, chain smoking cigarettes, smoking weed all day long, trying to replace or to feel a sense of, I won't say loneliness, but just a missing part. None of that worked. And the missing part that I really and truly was missing was Jesus, was the Lord, was love. And I tried to find that at the bottom of a bottle, just like many other people did. I was institutionalized for mental health because I was slowly going crazy in my own home. I had to go to drug treatment because of that. And 2020, there are some people who did succumb to suicide. And to be honest, I was almost one of those people. But God, and suddenly, I was a different person. And that took looking into the mirror and being honest with myself. You know, at one point, I was offended when people would talk about my issue because everybody saw a problem except me. I was offended when they talked about it, but I wasn't offended to live it. I went through it every day. I wasn't so offended that I would stop, but God. And the story is just amazing, which I'm going to put into a book one day. It is just so much for this one interview. But I like to say, God had allowed me to go through that fire, through the inpatient care, outpatient care, group therapy. And I was thinking, because the devil is an imitator of the Lord, to input thoughts in your head. I was thinking I'm the only one. But when I got to the institution, there were other people there. So that by itself proves the devil to be a liar. But God saved my life. And once I shut down my barber shop, I had to pivot to earn money. And so I got into the stock market. Knew absolutely nothing about it. And I allowed the Holy Spirit to guide my choices of what to buy, what to sell. And within 3 months, I had $100,000. In 2020, the world was afraid of COVID. I traveled across the country. I went skydiving, went skiing. This is after I came out mental health institutions. Nobody knew. They was like, Crown, where'd you get all this money from? How are you doing this thing? God. God. And I tell you, some people thought that I was, at my last days, Crown, you going skydiving, you going skiing. Are you planning on killing yourself? No, not now. What I'm doing is living. I was dying in that apartment by myself, but now you see me living. It confused them. It actually confused me, to tell the truth. But throughout that ordeal, I just have to thank the Lord. Now, like I was saying, survivor guilt. Some of my friends, they're not here today to make it. Some of them succumb to the rules of the streets, which are not established for you to make it. There is no retirement plan for a gangbanger. There is no 401k for a drug dealer. There is no gold watch for a hustler. There's none of that. None of that. So your life is in your hands. And every day I chose to drink, I could have just as easily chose not to drink. But what I had done was fill my mind full of evil thoughts. Every day I was gorging on the riots and the George Floyd and, oh, we're all going to die, COVID. And I was in front of my computer just engulfed in that stuff. The Bible teaches us to dwell on things that are righteous, things that are pure, to love and to just think positive. But the television, the radio, and even others, social media, fills our minds, fills our hearts, fills our spirits. And the word is evil, with bad things, with evil things. Who in their right mind would glorify and make a television series on a cannibalistic serial killer and have the world be exposed to his homosexual deviant behavior? Satan would. Why is Dahmer on television when there are so many beautiful, wonderful people that we can make a series about? Why are you even watching it? Why are you so addicted to the evil? The reason why is because it's plentiful. If you only give children candy, that's all they want. You give them some green vegetables, they don't want it because that candy has caused an addiction. It's the same with me. And I can only talk about me. I was addicted to the rapper who had the jewelry, who was pimping, who had all the women and the drugs, because that's all I fed my mind. So the next time you flipping through the channels, you turn to the news, death, destruction, and you sit there and you allow it in. Ask yourself, why? Why are you watching Dahmer? We have to protect our eye gates, our ear gates, because those are the entrances to our minds. I haven't watched television in years. Not only do I get more things done throughout the day, my thoughts are better. I'm not allowing Satan to play all kinds of games with my emotions because I watched this or that, or I heard such and such. The Bible teaches us, as a man thinketh, so is he. Those thoughts in your mind, they are swayed by the television. I live in Atlanta, and of course, traffic is traffic. When you watch the nightly news, they say, oh my gosh, it was a horrible wreck on 285 and three people are deceased now. Well, you do know Atlanta has millions of people in it. You have 285, you have 20, you have 400. They want you to focus, which, Lord, we all respect those who are deceased, but millions of people didn't die. Millions of people rode that road the same day, but only focus on the three who passed away. Not saying we just sweep over their lives or their passing, but so many people are still alive. This is what I liken that to. In the Garden of Eden, we should all know that story. Satan beguiled Eve to eat of the tree of knowledge, which was forbidden. Satan must have had a great rap to convince her to deny what the Lord has said. And to get to the tree of knowledge, which was in the center of the garden, they had to walk past all the trees that they could eat from. But Satan had them focus on that one that they couldn't. What about all these other trees? So he has to blind, beguile, trick, hustle you to forget all that you do have, to want something that you don't. That one thing. So, yes, Lord, bless their lives. Let their families be blessed and overcome those three people who did perish. But what about all those other people who did not? And so, in our lives, we are taught that what we're missing is more important than what we got. But the Bible also teaches us that you will not get any greater if you don't take care of the little. Take care of that apartment, and then you'll be able to get a house. Take care of that raggedy car, and then you'll be able to get a bigger or better one. Take care of that girlfriend and cultivate her into being a wife. Let's not focus on what we don't have. And for years, I did that. I focused on those three people. I focused on that one tree. I didn't take care of what I did have. Yet, in my mind, I wanted more. But I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve anything. And the Bible says a double minded man should not expect anything from the Lord. But I expected everything. I blamed this person. I blamed that person. I did not do the mirror work. And mirror work is when you look in the mirror, you see yourself and you be honest with yourself. So during that time of quarantine, I was drunk a lot of times looking in the mirror. But even during those times, I told myself, you're drunk. I looked at the slobber on my face because I wasn't bathing, because I was deep into depression. I looked at the crust in my eyes. I smelled myself because I wasn't taking out the trash and I'm just wallowing in my own misery. And the devil continued his onslaught every day. You're the only one. You're the only one. You're the only one. No one can help you. The only thing you need is another cigarette, another blunt, another joint, another beer, another shot. And those were all lies. So when I got to those mental health institutions, I wasn't the only one there. There were others. Just like those three people in that car wreck, a room full of people. A room full of people. Just like that one tree in the Garden of Eden that we should not have eaten from. It's a room full of people who've eaten from it. And I was right there with them. You're not the only one. You can make it. Turn off the television. Stop listening to the rapper who only wants you to kill other men who looks like you. Stop listening to the female rapper who is telling you to take your clothes off for money. They literally say, sell your body for money. The rapper literally says, do not trust another N word. But you identify as an N word. That means we can't trust you. And when I identified as an N word, I couldn't get nothing going with my life. I couldn't elevate. I couldn't see anything beyond what was in front of me. Turn them off. The Bible teaches us that we can renew our minds. And in renewing our minds, we can transform our entire life. And I am living proof to tell you that that is true. I'm an international businessman. I have my own music label. I have my own clothing line. And that's because I identify as a businessman. I don't identify as a hustler. I don't identify as an N word. I identify as a man. And you know, there are responsibilities to being a man. You take care of your household. You take care of your woman. You take care of your community. The Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. What are you going to leave yours? A closet full of old Jordans? A broke down old police car that you say you're in the Crown Vic Club? Do more with your life because you can do it. Unless you're just listening to Satan, which I was at one point too. I joined the military, the United States Marine Corps, right after high school. One of the best decisions of my life. And there were those around me saying, don't you join the white man's military. Well, what are you offering? What are you offering? They weren't offering anything. And right now, the jailhouses are filled with people who took them up on their offer of nothing. I wish I can go to those prisons and ask those guys, did you win yet? Did you win yet? You got them. Did you win? Who's raising your child now? I thought you do it for your family, because if you did it for your family, you'll be home with your family. I thought you did it for the love of your mother and your parents, and your whole purpose was to get them a better house and move them out the ghetto. But you're sitting in prison because you're really doing it for clout, street rep, to be considered hard. I wish I can go to the prisons and ask them, did you win yet? And here in Augusta, there's been a rash of gang activity, death of 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, A few months ago, there was an 8-year-old killed in Southside because a guy trying to win. He's in prison now, but that 8-year-old girl is dead. Did he win? What's the prize? Where is the pot of gold? What's the retirement plan for a gangster? You know, when you join a gang, you forsake your entire life for that gang, even if you don't feel like it. And now you're joining gangs at 13, 14 years old. You have no idea what life is about. And you've dedicated your life to foolishness. You got a tattoo on your neck of a neighborhood that you don't own anything in. Are you winning? Are you winning? When you walk down the street and people kind of, move to the side, that's not respect. That's because they don't want you around. You're claiming a neighborhood that you don't own one stick of furniture in. Southside. What do you own there? River Glen, Gilbert Manor, a bunch of Sunset Villas. Some of them are not even still around. My project, Sunset's gone. Change to Cherry Tree Crossing. Why are you getting temporary things tattooed permanently on your body? When you do that, you are anchoring yourself to that level in life. When you tattoo something on you, it's permanent. And when you see the average person with a street name tattooed on them, their whole life is spent on that street. Are you winning yet? Or do you have anything? Do you have anything to call your own? That street that you're doing all this crime to represent, Janice Holmes and whatever the name of your gang. What is the retirement plan? What is the amount of money, jewels, cars that will take the place of your life? 10 years of balling versus the next 50 years in prison. Did you win? Now, when I was doing that mirror work, I had to ask myself, are you winning? Every beer I drank, look at myself. Are you winning? I was losing and losing big. I was losing days. I was losing. Yeah, it's called a blackout. I lost literally days. I started drinking on Monday, and the next thing I know is Wednesday. Like, what happened to Tuesday? I would line up the emblem on my car hood to match the line in the road so I can make it home while I'm driving drunk. I would say I'm high, but really I was low. And when I was doing the mirror work, I would ask myself, are you winning? And the answer was no. But God transformed my life and the Bible teaches us with the faith of a mustard seed, which is not big at all. But when you cultivate it, when you put that seed where it belongs, into good ground, and then you add to that seed what is necessary: water, sunlight. And there is a scientific fact that says when you speak good words to plants, they grow better. Imagine speaking good words to yourself. And that's what I had to do. And right now, I'm winning. Everything I touch turns to gold. Ask me why. God. 2020, oh my gosh. I ended it when people were crying about money because they couldn't go to work. I ended it with $100,000. I'm not that smart. I knew nothing about the stock market. And I won $100,000. listening to the Holy Spirit of telling me what to buy, what to sell, what to ignore, what to wait for. And patience is an asset. Being able to wait. But what are you doing while you're waiting? For a long time, I was complaining, whining, but now I praise while I wait. And every step, every day is an ordered step. And you're doing things decently and in order. That means turn the TV off, put down the video game. Stop calling yourself an N-word because you will identify with what you call yourself. Get a haircut. If you got locks that look like crap, cut them off. Start your life over. Transform your mind. Transform your life. Now we complain, and I hear people, black folks are like crabs in the barrel. Are you in the barrel with them? Or is it somebody else? You're black. And if black folks are like crabs in a barrel, does that include you? Black folks are never on time. Are we talking about you? Don't trust black people. You mean you? I don't like supporting black business. You mean your business? Or do you even have business? I cannot stress it enough. You were born with royal blood in your veins. Become Crown Knight. Christ reigns over worldly needs in the earth. AR Crown. Always remember Christ. That's what the ARC stands for. Give Christ his glory. Now, I will tell you something that you might be overlooking. Let me start by saying this. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world that God does not exist. Isn't that something? So if I tell you, yeah, God told me to tell you this, God put this on my heart for you, you won't trust it. But if I say, oh my gosh, the devil told me to kill 100 people, you will instantly believe me. If I say the devil, I'm on demon time, you would instantly believe me. But if I said God said, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world that God does not exist. Now, when I was talking about those 3 car wrecks on the interstate, God let all those millions of people get home safe. I don't want to talk about that. That's nothing. Let's talk about the 3 deaths. When there's a man raising his children, faithful to his woman, we don't want to talk about that. You heard about that guy cheating on that actress? That's all you want to talk about? Idiots talk about people. Smart people talk about ideas. Geniuses talk about implementing those ideas to better the future. That's where I'm at. Are you still in your neighborhood, sitting on that milk crate next to the corner store? Because I've been there too. And when I was sitting there, I didn't win a doggone thing. Ask me, am I winning now? Heaven, yes. Heavens, yes. Look at me. And the other day, oh my gosh, I wanted to cry. I was in the supermarket and I saw myself, well, a past version of myself in this young man that was in front of me. He did not look trustworthy, to put it lightly. That's where I was. But I did the mirror work. It's okay to look neat. It's okay to wear a belt. It's okay to pull your pants up. It's okay to say yes, sir. It's okay to say no, sir. It's okay to respect your parents and not curse around them. Or do you think you're winning because you smoke weed around your parents? It's okay to be a man. You don't have to be an N-word. It's okay to be a beautiful black sister with your natural hair. You don't have to walk around and claim somebody else's hair as your own to make you feel better about being black. You were born royal sister. You were born royal brother. Get on the winning team. Become Crown Knight. Now, my company, the umbrella company, the manifestation, manna, bread from heaven, that was fed to those in Exodus who were escaping slavery. Manna. Fest, short for a festival, a gathering of people in a positive light, those with smiles on their faces. Manna fest. Station. I use a train station because a train transport people, goods, and services from point A to point B. We're going to transport the downtrodden to being uplifted, the ones in poverty to being the ones in prosperity. We're going to transport the depressed to happiness. We're going to transport the cheater to honesty, the homeless to a home. We're going to transport you to being the best you ever. And you were born fantastic, magnificent, bigger than what you're claiming. Because God gave you the opportunity to breathe air in your lungs. But when we're listening to the latest rapper, the news, when we're listening to Satan and all his minions, he tell you that you need to drink, because that's what he told me. He told me I couldn't be a fly rapper unless I got high. Now I write rhymes, oh my gosh, sober rocks. The Bible teaches us, beware of the devil, for he walks around as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may destroy. Almost destroyed me. But you know, Satan cannot do anything without your help. He gives suggestions, just like he gave me. And for years, I took him up on them. But God, now, I got tape on it because I use it. I open it. I got notes. This is not just a ride around in the back window of your car. This is to be opened. This is not just to be toted on Sunday to walk into the building and then walk back out without putting something in your mind. You're smart. Read it yourself. Going to church is the fellowship with like-minded people. It's not to show off your new dress. It's not to show off your new tie. It's not to get your car washed on Saturday so when you pull up on Sunday, they looking at it. It's to transform your life. It's a spiritual hospital for sick people to go to get spiritually well. And we must become spiritually mature. And I'm speaking from experience. I was offended at everything because I was immature. Once I did the mirror work, I realized it's me. The world doesn't owe me anything. I owe the world. I owe making this place better than when I came here. I owe my old teachers at Josie. I owe my old friends on 15th Street. I owe them boys who are looking for a leader. I owe the world to make it better. And you do too. But you're walking around trying to get likes on social media. You're walking around trying to impress someone who don't care about you. You're trying to be in a gang. You're trying to be in a clique. You're trying to be the it girl who dates all the dope boys. Are you winning? When will you win then? Do you want to see something different? Move. Move around the world. The world is not just your street, your neighborhood, your town, your city. The world is a big place filled with amazing things, experiences, other people, other cultures. Stop just eating candy. Stop being content. Stop being satisfied. Now, the Bible talks about the story of the parables. You should read that story. In that story, he gave us, I do believe, 3 guys, 3 amounts of money, and then he left to see what they're going to do with it. When he got back, one guy buried his money and said, here you go. I knew you was going to ask for it back. One guy doubled his money, and the other guy doubled his as well. That one who said, I knew you was going to ask for it back, that's where we are. We're not increasing. We're not multiplying. You know what you're doing right now? And I was there too. You are trying to have the flyest tent in the homeless shelter. That's what you're doing. You want the flyest tent on the street. You're not owning anything. You want the baddest suit amongst raggedy people. You want the sweetest ride amongst those who buy from you, buy here, pay here lot. You want the best apartment in the low-income neighborhood. You're born with the potential to own the neighborhood. You're born with the potential to own the car lot in multiple cities. You are born with the potential to own your entire city. Right here in the city of Augusta, $1 billion a year come through here from the masters. You claim Augusta. How much of it did you get? Are you winning? But you're in competition with the guy doing the same thing as you. Why don't you join him? Why don't you call all the people who are doing all the same things? And that's how Fortune 500 companies are built. But instead of pooling resources, which is what Marcus Garvey promoted, group economics. Hey, you got a loaf of bread. I have 10 chickens. The chickens lay eggs. And this guy over here, he has a garden filled with tomatoes and lettuce. If we get together, we have a whole restaurant selling sandwiches. But instead of getting together, you listen to the rapper who say, don't trust an N-word. And then when you see him, he's an N-word. So now you can't trust him. But the person who has been against you this whole time, slavery, all this stuff, you run to him with your resources. You were born with royal blood in your veins. And that guy that looks just like you has the same blood. Instead of joining the gang, why don't you join a co-op? Co-op. Operation. Co. More than one person. Put it together. Corporation. That's that mirror work that I had to do. It comes with a process. Me almost committing suicide was part of that process. Doesn't have to be part of yours. But God brought me through that fire, like I always say, to go back bringing buckets of water for those who are still in it. Carnell Apparel, soon to be a household name. And not one person here in Augusta doing t-shirts, doing graphics, none of them are my competition. Gucci is. Louis Vuitton's my competition. There's this guy I met, Bobby Bands, with CEO Clothing. We combined and did something amazing together. It's not my competition. He's my brother. There's this young kid, I think he's like 8, 10, 9 years old, has Bussing Unlimited on his own clothing label before he's even a teenager. It's not my competition. He's my younger brother. Operation Corporation. Anyway, I'm here right now at Studio 125 with the Kings. It's a multimedia center. I am so impressed by it, and they will be. Listen, the future is theirs. The future can be yours too. You can do it. And I am so rooting for you. I am A.R. Crown, and you should become crowned. Thank you so much.